All right, I just launched at Bayou Liberty Marina. It is an absolutely spectacular day. Dead slick, flag calm, no wind at all. The plan today is to head down to the Trestles, the train bridge that crosses Eastern Lake Pontchartrain. It's a little bit early to be hitting that, but I'm hoping some speckled trout have showed up and that they're gonna be nice size. We'll find out. Come along with me, let's see. All right, I'm here on site at the Trestle. You can see it there. Super sketchy run getting here, really foggy. Kind of broke once I got here, but you can look out this way and see how foggy it is. I got a falling tide. It's the end of the fall. Water was super low in Bayou Liberty, so I'm really kind of fishing against conventional wisdom. I'm fishing the upcurrent side, but I'm just going to give this a few minutes, see if I can catch anything. If not, I'll go to the other side. But I'm starting with this California 420 Zimmer Swimmer on a 3/8 ounce death grip jig head. I just know that this combo catches some really nice fish at this bridge. It's quite possible there are no fish at this bridge yet. There's only one way to find out. Water temp is 57 degrees. That's definitely a positive. All right, no bites on the upcurrent side. I'm gonna go ahead and switch to the downcurrent side. Oh, there we go. Oh, I missed him. That was a really good hit. That's a good sign. Well, shoot. Hate to miss the first fish of the day. There we go. Didn't miss him. Pretty much the same spot. Good trout. Oh, shoot. Well, we did miss him, but that was a really good trout. I would have thrown him back anyway. Well, that's a good sign. So the company Salt Strong, I've used their power prawn a good bit. I use it a ton in the fall. They've got a free service where you kind of analyze your whole fishing day. It's got an incredible amount of information on it. I've been kind of using it a little bit lately. They've got like a strike score that averages everything together and gives you a number on a 10 scale for like how good the fishing should be that day. It's also got the majors and the minors. It's got the tide chart, got the wind forecast, hourly, all that stuff. Basically everything you could possibly want, right, all in one location. And it's free. It's available to anybody. It's completely free. I think you get up to 3 days for free. You have to subscribe if you want, you know, to see a longer period. But I checked it this morning and it had the major like before dawn. So like we're on the tail end of the major now. And then fishing's supposed to like kind of deteriorate till about 10 o'clock and then start picking back up to the minor. And that's something historically I haven't paid a whole lot of attention to, but some guys I really respect pay a whole lot of attention to that. So it's probably to my detriment that I haven't paid attention to it. But I've kind of vowed to start and see if there's anything to it. But regardless, even without the major and the minor, there's a ton of information, valuable information that's available there. If you want to check it out, I'll include a link in the video description. I think you have to provide an email address to access it, but well worth it. And the nearest tide location for this area is at the Wrigley's. And I can tell you from having fished this place, the tide's a couple hours past the Wrigley's here. You wouldn't think it would be, it's so close. But it's a couple hours later. We're definitely going to bottom out at some point here. Oh, and by the way, today's strike score was a 6 out of 10. So I guess better than average, but not as good as you might hope. I know one thing, no matter what the strike score, you got a better chance of catching them out here than you do sit on your couch. So fish any day you can. Oh, there we go. All right, we're gonna land him or not? He doesn't feel as big as the one we lost. No, he's not as big as the one we lost, but he's a good take-homer. If we can get him. All right, there we go. All right. All right, about a 15-inch fish. Well, that was a sight for sore eyes. That's the first speckled trout I've caught since the big freeze. I was out of town for a while after the freeze, and the only trip I've done since then was a sac-a-lait trip. I know we had a big kill on speckled trout, redfish, and a bunch of other fish. It's good to see there's still some around. Been getting some good reports, so I'm not surprised, but still good to run across some. Oh, good hit, missed him. So those are always a good sign. When you see a loon, it doesn't guarantee you're going to catch fish, but it means at least that there's some bait in the area. And there's actually another loon past it. There's two of them. They wouldn't be here if there was no bait. This is a little bit early for the trestle to be turning on. I mean, some winters it stays good throughout the entire winter, but that typically isn't the case when you have some severe weather like we had. It's definitely good to see, because the fishing will be great here until those fish move out to spawn. You can catch trout here literally until the first or second week of June. Definitely important, especially water temps in the 50s, to get that bait down to the bottom. Gotta fish patiently here. Make sure you get back to the bottom after every hop as well. And water depth here is 12 feet. It gets shallower as you move to the south shore. I may make a run down there at some point. Oh, there we go. There's one. He feels keeper size, but not like the first one we lost. He's got it deep too. He should be in the boat. There we go. All right. All right, there we go. Good solid 15-inch fish. Perfect. On the Zimmer swimmer. Oh, there we go. There's a trout. Oh, he's barely hooked. Might not get to see him. Nope, we got him. There we go. Not the big ones I was hoping to catch, but good eaters. Oh, he pooped all over my boat. That's quite rude. Yeah, he wasn't getting off. Hooked well. So normally when you fish these bridges, you can make repeated casts to the same area where you caught a fish, and you can usually pick up more. But I've tried that today to no avail. They've all been one-hit wonders. So I do have some plans for these speckled trout that I'm taking home. My wife and I went to Costa Rica a couple weeks ago and ate tons of ceviche while we were there. Not something I typically make, but I'm gonna make it with these speckled trout. I know it's a good fish to do it with. So stay tuned to the end of the video, see how that turns out. Oh, there we go. There we go. That feels like a better fish. Try not to horse him so we don't lose him. Oh yeah, it's a good fish, real good one. Oh, come on, dude. All right, that's a real good trout. That's a real good speckled trout. I mean, obviously you catch some bigger than that, but that's what you hope to catch out here. About, you know, 2, maybe a little over 2. All right, the Zimmer swimmers served me well, but it's past its prime, so I'm gonna change it out. It's the only bad thing about a death grip jig head is getting the baits off. All right, we got that one. They hold on to those baits, which is one of the main reasons I absolutely love this jig head. All right, there we go. Fresh simmer swimmer. It's the California 420 color, which I love at this bridge. My buddy Justin Bowles is trailing me right there. Looks like he's got a fish on. He's got our mutual friend John McQueen with him. So he foul hooked that one. Such a beautiful day. How many February days are this nice? Oh, just missed one. Dadgummit. What you want to do? You want to race? So you want to race? Oh, are you? Did you fish 11 down there? Or you fish a track? 4 bites? What'd you catch up here? 4? I'm throwing a California 420 Zimmer swimmer. I got some if you want some. Okay. Oh, there we go. That was a good hit. Stay hooked up there, buddy. Ooh, you're a little saucy. This fish, he's got some spunk. Oh, he's foul hooked, that's why. Well, he's kind of hooked in the mouth area. Oh, look how pretty this fish is in this beautiful water. Man, he's hooked in the mouth. Look how pretty that fish is. Just a beautiful color. Looks like a freshwater speckled trout. When you catch them up in the marsh in that fresher water, they get dark like that. Beautiful, beautiful fish. And that was a good hard thump. All right, so glad I came out here today. Just coming to check. My 2 favorite baits out here is this California 420 Zimmer swimmer and a green hornet matrix shad. I just love both these baits. And that green hornet, you know, I fish it a ton in the marsh. Not a lot of people fish it at this bridge, and it's definitely my favorite color. I also often throw a holy jolly when the water gets super, super clear. It's clear today, but it's not like, oh goodness, I missed him. It's not like, oh, he hit it again. It's not like crazy clear. Sometimes it just gets like gin, just crazy, crazy clear. You can see 5 feet down with no problem. Man, that was 2 good bites on that cast. Nothing to show for it. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's a pretty trout. Keeper. Well, we gotta check him. I'm pretty sure he's a keeper. We're gonna check him. Just to make sure. You can tell these fish are feeding. They all keep pooping in the boat. Oh yeah, he's a 14-incher. So our tide is definitely petering, and what I'm noticing is these fish are pulling off the pilings. Not uncommon. They tuck in tight when that tide is really rolling. When it gets more diffused, they can kind of pull back out. There we go. That feels like it might be a foul hook fish. Fighting super weird. Nope, hooked in the mouth. Hooked in the mouth. Come on, dude. All right, another beautiful speckled trout. This dude's bigger than I like to keep. I'm gonna tag him and let him go. There we go. Come on, dude, stay buttoned up. He's got an opinion too. Look at this guy. He's got a definite opinion. And it doesn't match mine. Oh goodness, he's barely hooked. But he's captured. Nah, he's hooked better than I thought he was. All right, good eater. This is what you're not supposed to do. Troll between where I'm casting and the bridge. Super discourteous. That is one of the negatives to fishing out here. You do have to deal with a whole lot of people. Very, very popular area to fish, of course. Super convenient, and it holds a lot of fish, so why would it not be? Plenty of fish to go around. Just got to treat your fellow angler with respect. I usually try and get on sections of the bridge that don't have a lot of people. I'd rather catch fewer fish by myself than have to fight the crowds. When I started up here this morning, there's only one other boat north of me, but they've all moved in. I'm not sticking around long anyway. This tide is definitely petering out, and the bite is slowing down. And look at this, it is 9:59. According to that chart, things are supposed to really get bad around 10 a.m. So is it a coincidence or is there something to it? I don't know, but the bite has slowed down. It's supposed to pick back up midday, so I'll be back at home by then. This place is, it's about a 30-minute truck ride from my house and maybe another, I don't know, I'm gonna say 20-minute boat ride. So it's real close, real convenient for me. Just come here and spend a morning fishing, particularly when it's this nice, and then get home and still have the afternoon to get some work done. All right, great morning trip here at the trestle. The bite kind of petered out, not surprisingly based on that chart, but still just a fantastic morning. Some really, really nice trout. You know, over here you can catch some 5 and 6 pounders. They're not common at all, but they do occur. Didn't catch anything close to that today, but some really, really solid fish. Only had a measure one and it was 14 inches. So no throwbacks, just some really, really good wintertime speckled trout. So glad to see these guys here. So glad they survived that Arctic blast that we had a couple weeks ago. Bait of the day, obviously, is California 420 Zimmer Swimmer on a 3/8 ounce death grip jig head. Just love this bait out here. As I mentioned, this and the Green Hornet Matrix Shad are my two go-tos. Doesn't mean I don't ever throw anything else. That's certainly not the case. But I'll always have these in my tackle box along with me when I come out here. Now today I used a 17-pound mono leader because this water is not crystal clear. Sometimes it gets crystal out here and you've got to go with fluoro. I just despise fluorocarbon. I hate it. But when it's necessary, I'll definitely switch to it. So you certainly want to bring that along with you. If you're not getting bites, try using a fluoro leader if the water's super clear, or if you have really, really bluebird, bright skies, you might need to go down to that fluorocarbon. And a good rod, just so critical. I talk about it all the time. This is an Okuma X Series. Absolutely love this rod. It's my favorite rod I've ever fished with. This is a medium power rod. Now, if you wanted to use a medium heavy, I wouldn't fault you for that. That's what I used to do. That was my go-to. What I find though with the medium heavy, fish have an easier time throwing that bait, particularly with throwing a heavy jig head like a 3/8 ounce. Your rod just doesn't have a whole lot of flex, a whole lot of give. So I dropped down to medium, definitely happy with that. Still, obviously, you're gonna lose a few fish. It's always gonna happen, but definitely like a medium power rod. This is a 7-foot X Series, just, oh. It's a pricey rod, believe me, it's not cheap, but man, worth every penny. All right, I'm gonna head home and I'm gonna make some ceviche with these speckled trout. This will be the first time I've ever made it. Obviously, I ate it a whole lot in Costa Rica, really, really loved it. So I'm gonna show you how to do it, and we'll discover together whether or not my ceviche is as good as what I ate in Costa Rica. We'll find out. All right, I love to do catch and cooks, and that's what I'm calling today's, but actually it's not a cook. Ceviche, if you don't know, if you've never had it, uses lime juice to cook the fish. You don't actually put it over heat at all, and that's a big part of it. Really gives it its fresh and kind of really clean taste. If you're squeamish about eating raw fish, don't worry about it. The lime juice does all the action of the heat, even turns it opaque. And let me tell you, once you taste ceviche, you're definitely gonna do it yourself. You're gonna love it. It is fantastic. All right, let me show you what ingredients I'm putting in mine. All right, first off, absolutely key is lime juice. That's what cooks the fish. It gives ceviche kind of its tart and sweet flavor. It is, man, it's just so good. Next up, I'm gonna put some tomatoes in mine. You don't necessarily have to do that if you're not a tomato person. You can leave those out, certainly. Definitely always want to put some red onion in there. If you have just regular yellow or white onion, that'll work. Red onion's probably just a little bit better for eating raw. And I'm gonna add a little bit of jalapeno in mine. Not a ton, I don't want it to be super spicy. I am gonna remove the seeds and the pulp from the middle, so that kind of really cuts down on the spice, but I do like just that little bit of heat from the jalapeno. Then I'm gonna add some cucumber as well. I'm gonna go ahead and peel that, and then I'm gonna add some cilantro. All right, first step, we're gonna cut these limes and add the lime juice. Hopefully I have enough limes. I got 6. I think it should be enough. If not, I do have some lemons in my fridge. I could add a little bit of lemon juice. Oh, you do also want to add salt and pepper to this. I didn't include that in my list of ingredients, but that's something you definitely want to include. If you have one of those citrus squeezers, that would definitely make life a whole lot easier. I don't have one, so I got to squeeze these by hand. Maybe if I end up making a lot of ceviche over the years, I'll have to invest in one. And there is a reason I'm squeezing the limes first. I'm gonna cut the onions and let those soak a little bit in the lime while I'm getting everything else ready. It kind of sweetens up the onions a little bit. Okay, we got our lime juice squeezed into our bowl. We'll go ahead and cut this onion. By the way, I've seen something online to where if you put oil on your knife blade when you cut an onion, it won't make you cry. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm gonna try it. All right, here we go. We got some oil on our knife blade, now we're cutting our onion. Now I debated throwing this into a food processor, but I didn't want it to kind of make the liquid that you get in a food processor, so I am gonna slice it. All right, here we go. Put our onion into the lime, and I can tell you, it did not affect my eyes. I like the oil technique, I think it works. Now I'm not sure if that's gonna ultimately be enough onion. We'll have to see as we move along, but I'm gonna put some salt in here to help it kind of react with that lime juice. All right, there we go. Okay, next thing I think I'm gonna put in is the fish. So again, let that start reacting with that lime juice. It does take about an hour. You have to kind of let it sit in the fridge for about an hour before you eat it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that process started with the fish. Now, from what I read doing research to make this stuff, it's very, very important that you clean your fish really well. I mean, if you've ever cleaned fish, you know you're cutting through guts, you're getting poop on the fish and stuff. I always rinse my fish really, really well when I clean them, but I just gave them another rinse just to be totally sure, and then I also dried them with a paper towel. Now I'm going with 2 trout fillets. That may not be enough. I may have to add more fish. I just don't want to overpower it and put way too much fish in there relative to the other ingredients. I just kind of want to take baby steps. So I'm gonna start with these 2 trout fillets. I want to cut them into about 1/2 to 3/4 inch pieces. And one of the great things about speckled trout for this is it does not have a significant bloodline. If I were doing redfish, I would definitely cut that bloodline out. I'm actually going a little bit smaller with these pieces. Maybe about 1/4 inch. Now, I've historically been a little bit squeamish about eating raw fish. To me, raw fish is bait, not food. My wife loves it. She eats a lot of sushi. But the enzymatic process of the lime juice, the way it acts on these fish, essentially does cook it. And you can see right now, the trout fillets or the trout cubes are definitely kind of translucent. That won't be the case when we go to eat it. They're gonna be opaque. All right, we'll mix that in there. Let the lime juice begin to work its magic. All right, now we'll add a few cherry tomatoes and some jalapeno. Once again, I'm gonna take the seeds and the pulp out of there. I don't want the heat. And that's where the heat is. And jalapeno is one of those things that I find to be great variants between peppers.
Like some of them are super spicy and some of them are not. So I'm not gonna add a ton. I can add more later, obviously. All right, now some cucumber. I went ahead and peeled this. I prefer my cucumbers peeled. If you like the skin, leave it on. All right, look at that. It's really looking good. Looking forward to eating this. Fortunately, I gotta wait an hour. Got one more ingredient to add, and that's the cilantro. Oh man, it smells good. Yeah, this is gonna be really, really delicious. You can see how colorful that is. It's beautiful. Definitely appealing to the eyes. We'll see how it tastes. Last thing I gotta add, I'm gonna put a little more salt and some pepper. I can already see my fish turning white. 60 minutes from now, it should all be white. That's gonna be the hardest part, just waiting. Gotta wait an hour. All right, I'm gonna clean up this mess. Set a timer for an hour. I'll be back to see how our ceviche turned out.
1 hour later.
All right, here we go. Looks perfect. The fish is now white. It's lost that kind of translucence. And man, it smells really, really good. All right, time to go in for a sample. I got some crackers here. Now, the way they serve this in Costa Rica, they take green plantains, they smash them and fry them. I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna go ahead and eat it on a cracker. But that is definitely a good way to do it. You have to look it up online to see how to do it. It's a little bit of a process. You actually end up frying the plantains twice. Let's see how this is. Got to get a little tomato on there. All right, here we go. It's amazing how the fish gets kind of that mouthfeel of cooked fish. It doesn't feel or taste like raw fish at all. Really, really good. Really fresh taste. Obviously with the raw onions, with the cilantro, the tomato, cucumber, jalapeno. Now I will say this. I'm probably gonna add a little bit of jalapeno to it. It could use a little bit more heat, but it's delicious. Everybody who tries this will like it, believe me. All right, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Such a blast putting it together. That trestle bite, I mean, it's gonna be going on for the next few months, not weeks, months. It should be absolutely great. Actually, it should only get better. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the Marshman Masson channel on YouTube. And until next time, if we don't see you in the marsh, we'll see you right here on Marshman Masson.